Good morning.
Good morning.
Try it one more time. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, got the people in the back. Outstanding. Welcome back. If you've been off campus, I know some of you have been around, but those of you who haven't, welcome back to spring semester. I'm very, very, very excited about where we are. So I'm going to talk a little bit about where we are right now and where we've been, but just to jump right in to the academic spirit. Let's start with a pop quiz here. You're like, oh, no, yes. What is at the heart of our planning as a campus? What's absolutely at the heart of it?
Student success.
I love that answer. It's a great answer. Not the answer I'm going to give, though. What? Anybody else? I like student success. Great answer. What's that? Yes. Yes. Anything else? What's up? Completion. So we got student success, we got teamwork, we got completion. Anybody else?
Access.
Service. I like that. Great answer. Access. Miriam, what'd you say?
We got equity.
Equity. Also great. You guys have been paying attention. I love this. Well, I'm gonna give you my answer. You are. You are right at the heart of our planning process. You know, people might think that plan, it's always the same people year after year. You know, all the chosen people, all the special people. No. Over the past 5 years, we've had almost 160 people involved in planning for our campus. The people in the room, people outside this room, people from all the areas of this campus have been involved. And it's made us what we are, and it continues to make us what we are. So you are right at the heart of planning. How many of you, I know a lot of faculty in this room, how many of you were at Colloquium yesterday? So Dr. Pope, my colleague, who's always showing me up, because of course she's a faculty member, so why wouldn't she? All right, so did this really impressive thing where she named each and every one of the faculty at West Shore. Now granted, there's only about 30 of them. So her job's a little bit easier than my job. We have about 4 times that many faculty and about 3 times that many staff. But rest assured that I know the people on this campus because I know how much you do and I know how much you care about the work that we do together. So where are we in this year's campus plan? Well, how many of you have been listening to the Metro Minutes? So if you've heard the Metro Minutes, you've heard this already, but if you haven't, let me just give you a quick recap, right? We have 5 habits of success, 5 habits of success at Metro, right, that are at the center of what we're doing with students, right, of our work together with students. And each of those habits has a measure attached to it. An early indicator of whether students are doing what they need to do to be successful, right? And so we start with habit number 5, find a goal, make a plan, right? So it turns out 97% of our students have set a goal and made a plan, right? And that is a huge, huge, huge step forward for each of them. So that's a round of applause for all the folks who were involved in that, particularly our FYE teachers and our counseling faculty who led the charge on making this happen. Number 4 on our habits is using the other resources of the campus, right? Because we know that students who use the resources, students who connect with other people, right, are successful. 70% of our students who use those resources. Number 3, prepare to learn. Prepare to learn. Yes, do your homework. Yes, get the books. But also, when you're in a classroom, do what? Take notes. Take notes. Right? How many of you have had to say this to students? Hey, are you yeah, exactly. Right? Take notes. It's a hugely important habit that we need to instill in our students. There, we still have some work to do. We still have some work to do, but it's starting to happen. Right? Getting to know faculty. Students have intentionally reached out, and faculty have reached back. Right? And so we've got about 70% of our students who've had an opportunity, right, to get to know their faculty. And again, it's just hugely important. And finally, show up and participate. In addition to what happens in classrooms on this campus, all across the campuses, there are opportunities for students to extend their learning, whether those are workshops or seminars, whether those are events like Black Diamonds. There's all kinds of opportunities to extend learning, right? And every single one of our first-year students have taken advantage of those opportunities. So that's a round of applause as well. So we're starting to see our first-year students develop the habits they need to be successful, and we're going to keep pushing those habits. But I want to talk a little bit also about where we've been, how we got to this place, and where that'll take us. Do you guys remember this? This was 2013, right? When we started incorporating design thinking into our planning process. And we developed 6 designs, right? The question card, what was that about? It was about getting information to where the students were, right? Not having to send them to, say, an information desk somewhere. Just-in-time dialogue, just giving students the information they need when they need it, right? Upperclassmen project, right? Recognizing that there's progression, that there's a moment where students should be looking forward to what their next step is educationally, right? The roadmap, thinking about every stage of a student's journey, whether they're a first-year student, a sophomore, or an upperclassman. Campus handshake. Where's Barb Winston? I just had a great conversation with Barb Winston about the campus handshake because it's what everybody on Metro uses. It's part of what makes us Metro, right? When people talk about this on other campuses, we do. I sit in President's Council with my colleagues, and people will say, well, you know, what we really should do is the faculty and the staff and the administrators should all talk to each other about, you know, how we're going to help the students. I'm like, that's what we do. We call that the Metro Way. That's the campus handshake, right? And Transfer Express, right? Focusing on students who want to go to the university and giving them a step-by-step pathway to get there. Right? So these were the designs that we developed, and we developed based on working with actual students, prototyping them, testing them out. The following year, we started to refine those. We started to focus on what are the core. Well, the core of those were just-in-time dialogue, the roadmap, the campus handshake, question card. We knew we needed to get information to students, but we refined that as well, and I'll talk about that in a second. Right? But we went through a process of refinement, and we applied it, right, to the student's journey, right? To that first stage of the journey where they're just trying to get connected to the campus, to that next stage of the journey where they're entering into a program, starting to make progress, and that final stage of the journey where they're thinking about career, right? My next step into a job or my next step into a university, right? So we crosswalk those two things together. We created, right, the Metro Way card, right? That is at the core of the Metro experience. Talking to people about how to use the roadmap, how to use a campus handshake, right? How to use just-in-time dialogue as a centerpiece of how we serve students and what's distinctive about the experience here at this campus. We developed this idea of Major Fest, targeted at our upperclassmen, but also those students who hadn't quite decided what's their major going to be. Let's get clear about that, right? Part of what we talk about now, setting a goal, making a plan, right? We talked about upperclassmen week. So upperclassmen week, major fest. What are those things now? Anybody know? Grad Fest, right? those have been incorporated into a single event called GradFest, right? So, and they're part of not just what we do here at this campus, they're part of what people do at every campus. Right? And we had Metro 3.0, right? Ramping up the design process, trying to say, how do we expand, right, that notion of designing supports for students all across the campus. So the Metro Way meets Metro Express. Well, you've seen that in the Metro Express if you look at it every week, right? What's the thing we should be paying attention to? The Metro Card and wayfinding, right? Navigating the campus and getting students to the information and the person that they need. Mobile concierge, I was just talking to Lisa Netta-McDade about this. Mobile concierge, we still have mobile concierge. A couple of days from now, first week of the semester, you'll see folks out in their what is that color, Blaze? Lime, sorry, those lime t-shirts, right? Volunteers, again, from this campus, but from elsewhere, right? So they can come here, serve our students, and do things the Metro way. And last year's plan, going from thinking about how do students navigate the campus, how do students get the information they need, to thinking about what are students feeling? How do they feel about being here? So we started to promote mindset and doing mindset intervention with our new students. We started thinking about how do we promote a culture of care, right? So students know that they have support here, right? We started talking about sense of belonging. How does a student become a member of our campus family? And each of our divisions focused on those things that are at the inside of a student's journey. And that brings us to this year's plan, the 5 habits. So what's the course of that journey? It's a journey from the outside of the student experience, from what do they need? What kind of supports do we have? How do you navigate the campus? To the inside of a student's journey. What does it feel like to be here? Do I belong? Am I a part of something? And when we talk about our 3rd habit, prepare to learn, that is at the heart of everything. That's what draws us together. Students learning and our learning. As we develop and we grow together, as we get more insight into what works for us and what works for our students, that learning is what makes us a campus family. Learning and caring about what happens to people, caring about their growth and development. So we've taken that journey with our students, right? That journey from the outside of the experience to the inside of the experience. And that's where we're going to continue to grow and develop. So next year's campus plan isn't about starting over and saying, what are we going to redesign? Next year's campus plans is about going deeper and broader. Next year's campus plan is about saying, how do we take these 5 habits beyond our first-year students to all of our students? Next year's campus plan is about saying, how do we extend the 5 habits throughout our entire year? Throughout our entire year, and even before a student starts her first class. Next year's plan is taking all the work that we have crystallized into the 5 habits of success here and making sure that everywhere on campus, every time we touch a student, every opportunity is an opportunity for learning. So next year's campus plan is, I just can't even tell you how excited I am. I was talking with Dr. Brown in the hall, and I said, you know, sometimes you feel like the stars align. You know, everything just kind of falls into place. And then I said, you know what, that's not true at all. It's been 5 years of work to get us to this point. right? But we're here. And this is the place we need to be. And so I just want to just take this moment to say thank you for getting us here. Because when our campus center opens, we won't just be a different campus from the outside. We will be a different campus from the inside. And that beautiful exterior will just be a mere reflection of how amazing the experience here is, because we have created it together intentionally. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for the work that you've done. Dee Dee's like, this is the dismount? It's not quite. I got a couple other things I want to talk about. So, quick construction update. Anybody who's driven by this morning has seen we're making progress, but progress is slow. Progress is slow. Unfortunately, I have to share with you that we are not on track to be done by August. So right now, what it looks like is that we will be done sometime in 2019. The campus center was actually supposed to be by December completely enclosed, and they were supposed to be starting the finishing work. So we're behind track, but we are continuing to make progress. I talk almost daily with our VP for capital construction to monitor it and to keep it moving, but it will be somewhat delayed. We have, not just for this campus, but for across college, a commitment, as we've talked about, to equity and inclusive excellence. And part of that is reflected in the work that we're doing in our classrooms. So one of the things that our faculty colleagues will do later this morning is they'll have an opportunity to test 3 prototype classrooms. That will allow them to do various kinds of things and decide which ones, maybe one, maybe 2, maybe all 3, but which ones best suit their needs as instructors. And the point of that is not just the hardware or the software. The point of that is our approach as a college to achieving equity starts with making sure that we are giving each student what they need to be successful. And that includes thinking about how we meet the needs of each of our students in the classroom. And so we have to give our faculty the tools to do that. And that's a central part of the investment that we're making. But the only way we can know whether it's actually working for the faculty or not is if they have an opportunity to test it. So that's really what that's about. But when we talk about inclusive excellence, we're not just talking about what happens in the classroom. We're not just talking about what happens in our services. We're also talking about what happens as we set our goals. We're also talking about what happens as a culture. And I think this campus in particular has embraced that. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have an accreditation visit coming up. I want you first and foremost to be aware of it, so no one on the campus should miss the fact that it's happening, but also to feel confident about the fact that we are providing quality instruction. We have the resources we need to support our students and to accomplish our mission. And so if by chance you have an opportunity to talk with any of the site visitors on the 19th, you can speak with comfort and authority about what you do for this campus. So we'll have Lindsay English back on campus. We'll welcome her back later today to talk a little bit more and to answer some questions. And over the coming weeks, we'll also share more information about the details of the visit, both the logistics and a few questions that people might want to just be aware that the visitors may be interested in. Yes?
Is this the last visit this year?
Yeah. Yeah, so we had a focused visit in the fall, and that went extraordinarily well. We basically got the highest ratings a college can get from the accreditation visit. And it just had to do with a number of things that happened over the years that the HLC wanted us to provide them with more information about. This is basically a regular accreditation visit. So the next time we will have a regular accreditation visit will probably be another 5 years. Right, you're very welcome. So I want to end with that idea of where we've been and of where we're going. How many, again, I know a number of you were at Colloquium yesterday. How many of you were there? So I was just talking about Colloquium yesterday and talking with Michelle Ferenki about the layout. People went up and down the stairs, and she said, but the building is beautiful. And I said, yes, Corporate College West is a beautiful building, and I not to put too fine a point on it, but it won't be as beautiful as the building we are building, either on the outside or on the inside. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Do you hear me? Can you hear me? It doesn't sound like, okay, good. Welcome, Happy New Year. It was so great to see everybody. This is kind of my favorite time of year because everybody's refreshed, New Year's resolutions, we're all ready to go. And we've had so many changes at Metro. I had somebody yesterday say to me, wow, you guys at Metro are really resilient. You're building, you're tearing down, you're in a state of flux. And I'm like, we're a great family. So I'm proud to be part of this family. It's good to see the family come back in a new year. So I'd like to welcome a new member of our family, and that's Dr. Gregory Klein, our new Associate Dean of Health Careers and Sciences. And Greg started only Monday, so he's hit the ground running. So thank you for being with us, Greg. We're pleased to have you. He comes to us from South University. He's a physical therapist by trade, and he's got a lot of experience with accreditation and higher education. So welcome to you, Greg. And I'd also at this time like to give a huge thank you to Judy Kaplan. She served tirelessly in her role. Judy graciously took an interim position in the midst of the chaos of the HLC syllabi review, program review, getting things loaded up to the K-Web, and she did it all with a smile. So thank you so much, Judy. Your work is cherished. I'd also like to say goodbye, but not really goodbye, to a special member of our family, and that's Elizabeth Zezotek. Is she here? She has the flu. Oh. Elizabeth has been promoted to a new position at the district office, and that's to help with our iPads tracking and working with our iPad students. So congratulations to Elizabeth, and we wish her all well, and we told her we will not make her a stranger. She will always be in our hearts, and we will have her probably on our iPads team. We are actively in the process of searching, and hopefully we'll have an offer to a person in that role, the manager role of the transfer center. So we just keep things moving here. Dr. Scope mentioned we have an HLC visit coming up in February. I want to thank you for all of the work that you did in the fall. We had so much to accomplish, and we were just a great team. We're going to continue to move forward with our syllabi review. We have a temporary fix in terms of how to upload the language that you need to include in your syllabi. That should have gone out to you this week, so you have that. Right now, it is basically taking some of the language and transferring from the course outline, the master course outline, into a Word document. Eventually, we will have something a little bit more refined in terms of a technical solution that will pull your class up and give you some information to build a stronger and easier syllabi. So thank you again for your patience. I know there's a lot of clicks to get to that Word document, but thank you. Another change has occurred. In order to free up a little bit of space and also to centralize services, we've moved our tutoring for both nursing and sciences to the 4th floor of MSS. So we will have, when someone says, where do I go for tutoring? One place. It's not, oh, this building or that building. So it'll be easier for the students to navigate. And we thank Richard's team for really making that happen very quickly. So thank you again for the whole team. So that was the area that was in MHCS 332 that's moved. So let students know if you see them and they need wayfinding. As Dr. Scope mentioned too, we have prototypes that we are going to be featuring today to show you the different types of technology that we are going to hopefully get upgraded into. Yes? 332 is moved to which room number? It's the Student Services Center, the whole 4th floor. It's not a room. Yeah, thank you for the clarification. Yep. So the ATC prototype rooms, I just wanted to list those. If you're scheduled for one of these rooms, just so you know, you will have BrightLink in the MHCS 319 physics lab. The Cisco system, which is the conferencing type of system, will be in MBA 210. Click and Share, which is an interactive TV. You're going to learn all about these technologies today. MLA 108. And Studio 101 now has technology. We have BrightLink and 2 mobile screens. So not only it will be the awesome interactive space that it is, we now have technology that we can use there as well. Let's see. Liberal Arts is proud to announce we have a lot of partnerships. 30 of our classes in liberal arts are involved with partnerships, whether it be College Credit Plus at Max Hayes. We now have a new partner with Jane Addams this spring, and also the First Energy classes. So we are continuing to reach out to the community from everywhere from our high school students, and we also have Parent University at CMSD. 2 of the CMSD locations are educating the parents of CMSD students. So it's a really exciting partnership that the community has really embraced. With that, I have a lot more information, but Rolanda needs to speak in about a couple minutes. So I'm going to pass the mic to Rolanda. Thank you all. If you need me for anything, I'm always here.
Good morning. Thank you, Dee. I just have a few things that I want to say. First, I'd like to say we've had some changes in the student affairs area as well. We, as a campus, we are getting good at leveraging our talents here on campus. And for the Student Affairs Office, we have Miss Janetta Roby Autry, who's moved into a new position as of November. She now serves as our Assistant Dean of Student Affairs. Could you stand up, Janetta, please? And she previously served as the manager in the Enrollment Center, and she's doing a fabulous job. She's leading our enrollment tactical team. As you know, we are working at getting our numbers up, and she's doing a great job at leading that. What I really wanted to talk to you about is just to provide another reminder of how Student Affairs is really seeking to work jointly with you as faculty members. Again, we know you're at the center of learning, and we just want to make sure that we are there to support the learning that's going on within the classroom. So for this semester, again, we have a host of activities, and we really want to partner to have you guys possibly, first of all, have your students participate. We've done a great job. We get lots of participation, especially when it comes to Success Week, which this year, for this semester, will run from February 12th through February 16th. Again, it will take place in the MTC. We had a great participation. It was also joining together our We the People series with our Common Reading program. That was great. We had lots of students. We've gotten really good feedback. But just want to remind you of the importance of co-curricular activities. So, you know, our engaged student is what? They're our successful students. So we do want to remind you that students do have the opportunity to receive a student leadership certificate. and they receive credit for going to these different activities. We also want to extend to you the invitation if you have some things that you would like in your syllabus or in your class, and you would like us to support it with activities outside the classroom, please work with our student life. And we have Ms. Jennifer as well as Lisa Netta, who are open to working with you, and you should receive more information from that within your emails. One last thing, just a reminder of how we really need you guys to, if you see something going on in the classroom, we have provided tools. So to remind you of our early alert tool that is located on the work tools tab within your MyTri-C space, if you see students who need assistance. And so last semester we began to talk about not really just being more proactive and paying early attention. So in these early few weeks, if you notice a student you think may need assistance, please don't hesitate to submit that to the early alert button, as well as you guys, many of you will have care team members assigned to you, and you'll have just resources just to make sure that we keep our students connected. And with that, I'll give it back to Dr. Scope.